welcome to the session. We'll just take a couple of minutes for everyone to join in.
Hello, hello.
Nice, we can see some emojis coming in.
That's so nice.
Awesome,
Wow, from
great.
Chicago.
Okay, we have Finland, India, Chicago. Nice. Hi, everyone. Welcome to everyone who's joining in. We'll just take a couple of minutes.
That's really
Awesome.
nice, yeah.
Awesome. Great. I hope you're all having a great time in day 2 of TestMe conference. I'm Kavya and I'm thrilled to introduce this session. Today we are diving into the topic, where have the women of tech history gone? Through this session, you will learn the history of computer science through the portraits of women. Our speaker, Durieux, has been on the computer since the age of 6, always knowing that tech was her domain. Today, she works as a full stack developer and consultant at Insight Software in medical field. And for the past year, she has been streaming web development on Twitch and is hosting her own show. So let's get started. Please join me in welcoming Loha. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation. I really appreciate it. So hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming. So nice to see everyone saying I'm from this or this country. Is really awesome. So hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It's really surprising because this is the first time I'm doing in a remote talk, but I'm doing streaming. So I think it's gonna be okay, but I'm really stressed. This is really funny. So I can wait to tell you about all the history of computer science through women portraits. So let's begin the presentation. Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Take a seat. Take some popcorn, a good tea. I don't know what time is it at in where you are, but well. So as I have been really nice introduced, my name is Laura Durieux, aka Dev Girl on internet. So I'm a full stack web developer. Full stack is a curse, means everything and nothing at the same time. But well, I don't know where to put myself. I won WorldSkills Belgium gold medal in 2020 and 2021. And I do a lot of streaming on Twitch. So be welcome to join us anytime you want when I'm on Twitch, of course. Even if we speak in French, don't be afraid to say hi. Of course, we all can speak in English, as you can see. And I'm also a show presenter on RTBF, which is the national public media in Belgium. So I'm from Belgium, of course. If you want to follow me on my journey or on Twitch, don't hesitate. Of course, here are my multiple social media, so pay attention to it. So on Twitch, this is DevGirl with 1 underscore. On Twitter is 2 underscores, and on Instagram is 3 underscores. I did my best. I couldn't have better name on this social media. But well, this is funny to tell all the time. So, shall we begin? So, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask them. I will be pleased to answer them at the end of the talk, of course. So, yeah, shall we begin? Okay. So, first of all, I want to tell you about a little anecdote that happened when I was in college, and which was the trigger of my journey learning about the women who had revolutionized the computer science field. I had an art history class during my first year, and I was really sad to see that there were only 2 women presented through the year. So I decided to send an email to my teacher asking asking him why he has presented so few women. He answered kindly and honestly that he didn't have enough time to add more women to his syllabus. And some students may not have the required basis for their future career. So we think about students in art, in painting, in illustration, etc. At first, I didn't really pay attention to it. Like, I didn't really realize the huge problem behind it. But once I realized it, I started to ask myself a lot of questions. And today I wanted to ask you two of them. The first one is, why are women not considered as the required basis? What do they have less than men? And the second one is, who is the person or the group of person who decide what someone deserves more than another to be in a syllabus? Spoiler alert, I can't really answer this question because like right now, I'm not a sociologist, I'm not a philosopher. I mean, like, I don't have the knowledge right now, so it's not really the subject. But don't hesitate to ask yourself this question and to think about that and to discuss about that with other people around you, of course. So this problem is present in many fields, but we are only going to talk about the field of computer science today, of course. Our passion. I hope that everyone is passionate about computer science. Of course, we are. I hope so. And personally, if today, I mean, like, normally I say if you go home, but I mean, like, I imagine that you are already at home today, now. But if at the end of the day, at the end of the presentation, you remember two names from the presentation, this is already a huge win for me. So don't hesitate to use the chat and to share your knowledge. And you, do you know any woman in the computer science? Don't hesitate to write your answer in the chat, of course. I would love to see which woman you already know in computer science. If you can, I think you can write in the chat, right? Of course. Don't hesitate to say names. I want to see which names you know. Maybe I don't know some of them, so it would be really nice. That's good. That's good, Crystal. Hi, everyone. Maybe a little of delay. No? Ada Lovelace, of course. Of course. Really good answer. Other one? That's really nice to read a lot of your answer, like focusing on people, on women around you. That's really nice to read. Oh, I'm afraid I don't want to misread the name, but Maret, I don't know it. I don't know her. This is awesome. Okay, let me put her somewhere like that I don't forget her. That's really nice. Okay, let's begin. Let's go and discover the stories together. And for that, we need to go back in time. And we are going to begin with the Age of Enlightenment. That would be cheating. Yeah, I can understand that. Oh, I know this username. Okay. So, the ancestors of computing machines were human computers, and especially in the astronomy field. So basically, computer was a job, and it was mathematical calculations, and very often they were separated into groups to compute long and difficult calculations. The work was divided in a way that the calculations were executed at the same time in parallel. This is so hard to pronunciate this word for me, parallel. And this is kind of funny to observe that still today we are looking for this concept to execute multiple tasks in parallel, like multi-threading or how many operations my computer can execute at the same time. So this is already something we did a long time ago. This is really extraordinary to know that. So, like every profession, it was dominated by the men. However, the first woman to be quoted in the history of computer science is Nicole Lopaute from France. And with she is the most famous astronomers of the Age of Enlightenment. With two other men, she calculated the return date of the Halley's comet on April 13 in 1759, almost exactly as it returned on March 13 in the same year. You imagine, we are in the 18th century, and this woman with a paper and with a pen uh, calculated the return date of a comet with only 1 month error. I don't know if you can kind of see the extraordinary calculation behind that. But this is also mind blowing every time. We also have Maria Mitchell, who made a splash for discovering the first telescopic comet, which means it's invisible to the naked eye. The comet is named after her, and she will receive a gold medal for her achievements. Let's continue. During the 19th century, there were quite a few barriers and contradictions regarding women in scientific professions. So, despite the fact that they had access to degrees, they were forced to resign as soon as they got married, without saying that at that time, a woman that is not married doesn't exist in the doesn't exist in the eyes of society, of course. So kind of difficult to have a job at that time for a woman. But the history of computer science starts in 1840 with a person that you obviously know. And if you don't, you should ask yourself some serious question. Of course, this is Ada Lovelace. However, and I know that a lot of people don't really agree with me, and it's okay. But for me, I don't consider Ada only as the first programmer. Let me explain for why. Let me explain why. So this is Charles Babbage, the man who built the difference engine and the analytical engine, whose purpose was to calculate in place of humans. However, he was very messy and couldn't stand back from his machine. He had ID and like extraordinary IDs. Wow, how can you invent this machine at that time? But he didn't have a concept that embraced his machine. Hence the arrival of our dear and sweet Ada. Ada. Wow. He invented the concept behind the analytical engine by providing the first algorithms. And ladies and gentlemen, computer science was born. So for me, Ada isn't just the first programmer. She is the mother of computer science. Oh, and by the way, you can find the first concepts of loops and functions in her algorithms. Just that. But despite this extraordinary invention, it was far too innovative for its time, and the analytical engine was forgotten for lack of funding and was found back in 1937 to inspire the Mark I, the first general purpose electromechanical computer. But let's take it easy, all right? Let's take it easy. We are at the end of the 19th century, and Edward Charles Pickering is the founder of the group of women known as the Harvard Computers. It's worth noting that Edward thought women were just as competent as men as computers. These women listed over 10,000 stars and developed a system to describe them. One woman in particular stood out, Annie Jump Cannon. She pioneered the new spectral type classification system and developed the Harvard classification scheme, which is the basis of the system used today. Between 1911 and 1915, she classified some 5,000 stars a month at a rate of 3 stars, at a month of 3 seconds for stars. Like, I mean, like, I don't know what you can do in 3 seconds. I mean, like, I can't do a lot in 3 seconds, but I mean, like, as a good person from Belgium, like, I'm a Belgian person, so I can maybe try to chug a beer in 3 seconds, but this is so much like, okay, this is mind blowing every time. Every time I love to give this conference. I love to give this talk. Um, let's continue. In the 20th century, the growth of industries opened up opportunities for women to join the field of technology. One notable woman is Grete Hermann from Germany, made significant contributions with her advanced work in mathematics and physics. She played a key role in her early philosophical work on the foundation of quantum mechanics, and in the 1920s, her doctoral thesis laid the groundwork for computer algebra, and it first established the existence of algorithms for many of the basic problems of abstract algebra. And this is something that I love to talk about because I really wanted to try to have to know about computer algebra, like to have an easy way um, of explaining what is computer algebra. But this is really hard to find, and we have nothing about her work, like vulgarization. I don't know how to say it in English. I lost my word. But to have a simple way to understand her work, this is really hard. And even if I love mathematics and physics, I don't have the knowledge for to understand that. And it's gonna be really like, how to say that. Um, it's gonna be like a really funny comparison, but like, if you want to know the relativity formula from Einstein, you have it, you know it, and you kind of understand in a big scheme, like in the big frame, like what is it. It would be really nice to have people taking time to trying to explain her work in maybe easier words for people, to try to understand better what she did. Let's continue. Who is Shakuntala Devi? This is a woman from computer science. Between the 1940s and 1970s, women were widely hired as coders for a number of reasons. During this period, programming was an emerging field, lacking professionalization with no specific coding diploma requirement. This lack of formal credentials was advantageous for women, as new hires only needed to pass a straightforward logic test without the need for a diploma. Another contributing factor was that despite women earning degrees in scientific fields from university, they faced a challenge. They faced, challenges in finding employment or advancing in their career. As a result, many women turned to opportunity in IT. The third factor was the shortage of manpower and the fact that women cost very little, often less than a worker. During the World War II, Grace Hopper, a 36 years old mathematician, decided to contribute to her country. She left her teaching position at Vassar College and joined the US Navy with the expectation of decoding enemy messages. Surprisingly, the Navy assigned her to Harvard, where she became the third developer of the first computer, the renowned Mark I. I don't know if you remember earlier, I mentioned the analytical engine and how it was discovered at Harvard to inspire 𝐊𝐿𝐴 to create the Mark I in 1937. So, as you can see in the picture, the Mark I was a versatile punch card programmable calculator, and it was Grace who had the honor, or rather the heavy burden, of timing this machine. She wrote its 521-page user manual from scratch. And this is so huge. And every time I read the sentence, I always think about the picture of Margaret Hamilton with her huge manual she wrote herself, like it's of her size. This is always so impressive. We are so happy for Grace because she finally engaged in top secret calculation crucial to the war effort, involving tasks like determining rocket trajectories, generating range tables for new anti-aircraft guns, and calibrating minesweepers. Only that. Just that. Okay, Grace. The year 1945 marks a milestone in the history of computing, the first fully electronic computer, the ENIAC. So ENIAC is the acronym for Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. It was developed to automate and speed up the work of calculators. While the latter was indeed faster, it still needed a human intervention, an operator. And this job was largely performed by women. The operator is the person who manually enters the question into the computer using switches and cables. 6 astounding women. So it's important for me to cite their name. So Kathleen Antonelli, Marlene Meltzer, Betty Jennings, Frances Spence, Betty Holberton, Ruth Teitelbaum were the 6 first ENIAC developers, and among the first developers by extension. Although the role of operator was the programmers of the day, it received little credits or was easily belittled as it was mostly practiced by women. Hardware being the main job, you know, the hardware, the software. So yeah, but yet the line between these two professions was not necessarily clear-cut. Often, women needed to have little or in-depth knowledge about hardware to be able to do their job. This is where we see a big difference between the job description and what these women actually had to do. So I have little anecdotes about them. So they all have a mathematics degree in common. They were responsible not only programming but also installing and assembling the ENIAC, and they are the ancestors of the debugger. So this is really funny. So imagine now you are in front of this monster, this machine, this huge machine, a lot of cables, a lot of switches, like kind of scary, you know? And imagine now that you have a bug, that you did an error, you did a mistake. Try to find it. Try to find it. And this is why these women had to find a way to work together in a group, in a team, to find a protocol, a process to find every time there is a bug or there is a mistake. This is awesome. And this is why we consider them as the ancestors of the debugger. In 1942, a significant innovation emerged, unintentionally driven by Hedy Lamarr, a renowned movie star. And to understand this, we need to rewind a bit and delve into her background. So Hedy Lamarr, famous for her role in the first non-pornographic film featuring a nude orgasm scene, and also recognized as the face of Disney's animated film Snow White, found herself in an unexpected role. Facing a troubled marriage, Lamarr fled Austria. However, she had a surprising alter ego, a profound interest in war and technological advancements. During this time, during her time in America, she crossed paths with the pianist George Entail. And together, they conceived a secret communication system for launching radio control torpedoes, known as the frequency hopping spread spectrum. FHSS. Always a burden to say this sentence. This sentence is so hard to remember every time. They patented this idea in 1942, and remarkably, it is still in use today for technologies like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Oh, sorry. So this is why we call Hedy Lamarr as the mother of the Wi-Fi. So you wouldn't have Wi-Fi without this extraordinary women. And I think that when it comes to unusual career changes, we are reaching new heights, like really new heights. At the same time, a new way of thinking about code emerged in the 50s. Challenges arose from hardware constraints. Programming was evolving faster than hardware, so algorithms had to be optimized. And this is still the case today. Giving rise to the image of a singular creative genius wielding a form of black magic. It was at this point that the stereotypical image of the white, hairy, antisocial man emerged. And although it belonged more to the realm of fantasy, studies in the 60s showed that he quickly became a sought after profile and was more easily hired by companies. And you thought we were done with speaking about Grace Hopper? Nah, she's back. After the war, she worked on the UNIVAC, the most powerful computer at that time. And when she was put in charge of the automatic programming department, she came up with the idea of the compiler, enabling computers to write their own programs. So Grace Hopper is the person who literally invented the compiler. And if I remember well, the name of the first compiler is A0. Don't hesitate if I say a mistake here. Hairy antisocial males. Yeah. Like in the movies, you know? So, as revolutionary as the idea was, she observed that it wasn't long before every company started writing their own compilers. And before moving on, just to be sure that everyone knows what a compiler is in big words. I know this is not the precise definition. If you want to give a more precise definition, don't hesitate to put it in the chat. But in big words, a compiler is a software who will able to translate machine languages. Sorry, other way around. To translate programming languages like a human can easily read into machine languages. Like this is like definition in big words. It's not precise. I agree. So in 1959, yes, faced with the potential chaos of every computer brand having its own compiler, she decided to call on her old Navy connections to organize a meeting with every computer manufacturer in the country. And when they all came out, they all agreed on a simple universal language would be used by all computer. And soon, the Common Business Oriented Language, or COBOL, was born, and it's still in use today. So now I would love to do a little poll, a little survey about that. So, this is, do you want to, yes, up. Okay, so I started a survey, a poll, like, can you code in COBOL? Don't hesitate to answer, of course. I really want to see if people in the audience can code in COBOL. It's really interesting to know that. This is really funny because when I'm like on stage in the real life, I love to watch the people. Like I'm saying, who can code in COBOL? And sometimes, like every time, there are some people like me, I can, and I'm watching them, and I'm like, how do you feel about that? Like, because I know that this is kind of a this is really like not funny to code in COBOL. So in Fortran, no, I can't. But well, so yeah, this is Grace Hopper who also invited, not really, but I mean, like, she's the mother of COBOL too. Like, Grace Hopper is a queen. Like, she's the mother of way too much thing. This is so impressive. Okay. Okay, so we have 3 votes for yes. 3 people here can code in COBOL. I'm old. Oh no, you're not. Oh my god, we have 3 rare specimen in the audience who can code in COBOL. Oh my god, this is impressive. I really respect you. Really, I really, like, no joke. Really respect you. Okay. I'm gonna hide from stage, and like that I can continue. And it's really funny to see that COBOL is still in use today, like in banks and in insurance and things like that. Uh, so yeah. And I also have 2 little anecdotes about Grace Hopper. So the first one is um, that it was also Grace who came up. Like, I mean, like, on the slide, it's written like that she's known as the queen of software, but I didn't speak about software. So you're like, why is it written on the slide? Like, why is she the queen of software? Well, let me tell you why. Because she is the person who came up with the idea of software portability. So instead of having to rewrite a program each time on each computer, the code is compiled so it can be reused on any other computer. Yes, she did that too. Nobody can stop her. Yes. Amazing. So this is really normal for us. Like, we want a software, like for the youngest one in the room here. Like, we want a software. We on like this is really natural. We go on internet, we download something, or we had some discs to put in the computer, and we already have it. But before, it wasn't like that at all. So yeah, this is really like a revolution in computer science field. Secondly, and not only for the computer science field, like for the world. Secondly, Grace Hopper decided to call the process of writing instruction coding. And it's funny to note that this term, replaced by programming, has recently revived. I mean, like, I prefer to say that I'm a coder than I'm a programmer. I don't know. I don't know. It sounds better. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that, but I found that funny to tell that to say that anytime, all the time. Okay, let's take a look at this graph. It shows several curves representing the number of female graduates in various fields in America. And I think that we can observe something strange about the one for computer science. Around the 80s, we see a break between women and computing. And there are a lot of different possible reasons for that. A lot. And it's always really awesome to be able to speak about that with a lot of people after each talk. Every time is so interesting to have the point of view of everyone. This is so amazing. So why is there a rupture between women and computer science around the 80s? Well, the factor I want to speak about today is the advent of personal computer, or PC, in 1981. So before this, more university students had little to no exposure to computers, as they were inexpensive, putting everyone on a relatively equal footing. However, and this is important, you're not going to see the link directly, but With the introduction of the PC, a new stereotype emerged. The perception arose that to be a proficient programmer, one had to spend countless hours obsessively working on a computer, leading to the notion of real programmer who sported a computer screen 10 from constant screen time. Funny thing is, many men in the business didn't even fit the stereotype. And there are really successful men in the business who didn't do that. Like, yeah. Moreover, when households acquired a computer, it often ended up in the boys' room, with fathers taking the role of coach, encouraging their sons to explore programming. And because of that, a gap was then created. Because if you have, like, to be considered as a good programmer, you have to spend a lot of time on computer, but being a girl, you didn't have access to a computer at home. Maybe sometimes some girls could feel illegitimate, like not legit to start maybe computer science studies, something like that. And especially the beginning of advertisements about the PC. This is an excellent example where representation is crucial. By showing only ads where the PC looks like a boy thing, majority of people begin to think unconsciously that this is the case. These days, we hear about ChatGPT and artificial intelligence every day. Every day we hear about ChatGPT. I'm so tired of it right now. I don't know you. I don't know what you think about it. But during my research, I discovered several women who have advanced the field of artificial intelligence, including Alice Rocock and Karen Spark Jones. So, scientist and researcher in computer science, Karen Spark Jones' work focuses on automatic natural language processing, so NLP, and information retrieval. She developed the TF-IDF method, so term frequency inverse document frequency, a weighted relevance measure that is still used today by most search engines and is an important tool for SEO. This method combines the physical presence of a word in a text with the weight of its importance in general. It thus makes it possible to define the relevance of a specific keyword in a text. She published also an article in 1964 that is considered a founding and fundamental document in the field of natural language processing. Her ideas, little appreciated at the outset, are implemented today and continue to inspire. She also mentored a generation of researchers, both men and women, and coined the slogan, "Computing is too important to be left to men." She's a queen. I also discovered something extremely interesting. No sexism in hacker ethics. So, the philosophy of the hacker spirit demands that only the work of the hackers be judged, not the hackers themselves. So, age, social position, gender, ethnicity, nationality, sexual orientation, etc., should not be taken into account. This is also why the big challenge for the tech woman is to no longer be labeled as a woman, but as a developer or an expert. And that's it. Like, yeah, sorry, my parents. So, is it true about the hacker spirits? I had the misfortune of typing most famous female hackers into Google. And well, like a lot of people say, one image, I don't know if it's in English, it's expression, wow, I was speaking in French in my head. Like, it's better to show you a picture than speak. Yes. One image is better than 1,000 words. Exactly. Exactly. And I think that you have the image. So I was pleased to come across a majority of links making top 10 hottest female hackers. Really cringe. So even if there is a progressive will in this field, the fantasy of female hackers is still very present in the society of today. The woman I would like to highlight here is Joanna Rutkowska, a Polish computer scientist and security expert. She is best known for her research into low-level security and rootkits. And this is really funny because when I was presenting, like giving my talk, um, someone came after the talk and told me like, but like I met her. I have to be precise. A man came to explain me something and said, um, I met her and she's really like not friendly at all. And I was like, oh, okay. And I mean, like, I'm sorry, but Steve Jobs have books, movies on him, and everyone knows that he's a bad person. Like, but we still hear about his story. So I want to keep her here in this presentation because I think that this is important. But like that, apparently she's not really nice. She's not really friendly. Well, okay, do whatever you want with that. And as a as a way of satisfying everybody, here are two important figures, women figures of today in the cyber security world. Melanie Ribach and Patty Maas from Belgium. She's from Belgium. Woohoo! So yeah, and that you know. Already the conclusion. Yeah, it's gonna be 45 minutes in 2 minutes. Okay, yeah. This is the conclusion then. So I could go on for hours and hours about these women. Today, many actions and associations are being set up to give a place and a voice to women in IT. And this conference is one of them. I would like to highlight, I don't have the time to explain, but I think that a role model is really important, especially for minorities in computer science field. So not only for women, but for people who are like minorities. I don't know how to say it in a other way. Having a role model, I think this is really important, and it can be game changer because it happened to me. I discovered Aurélie Jean maybe like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and by discovering her, I discovered that I can I can try to do whatever I want, even in the computer science field, and I will never thank her enough. And today she's one of my friends, and I'm so happy that I've met her. So I really wish that you find your role model to 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 try to reach your ambition, even like only trying and have fun while trying to do what you like. So the aim of this conference is to highlight women who have changed the course of IT history and who can inspire young girls today. I ask you, those who have patiently listened to this story, when you get home, I mean, like you are already home. I mean, like when this presentation will stop, to write down at least 2 names you've discovered today and spread the word, to share the story to these women, to share the stories, sorry, of these women with the women around you, to your daughters, to your sisters, to your students, to your friends, to your mother, to your grandmother, to your aunt. I don't know, you have women around you, encourage them to show these women also. This is really important. These girls or women don't have to become programmers, but just open up their horizon and show that being a girl doesn't have to limit their choices and their dream. Narrate, encourage, propagate. So this is the conclusion of my talk. And this is a talk that I really love to do. I would like, before ending, I would like to say a last word is that I realized it like maybe a few months ago. My presentation featured only white women, and this is really a problem because white people didn't do the whole history. So maybe I need your help. If you have name of women from, like, not white women but from other countries, from other continents, don't hesitate to send them to me, to send their name, and I would love to learn about them, especially because I'm starting a project on my Twitch channel, which is a wiki like, where we can try to put a lot of information about all the women from computer science, and it would be a pleasure to put them inside it. So yeah, thank you so much for your attention. I hope you had a great time. Thank you again. Don't forget to follow me on the social media. I'm waiting for you on Twitch. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Laura, for that amazing session.
Thank you.
We have got tons of questions here, but
Oh,
because of the lack of time, I'll just pick up one as of now. So this is from Abo. He says that how would we tackle the equality of genders outside of Western countries, as most of the inequality of education, job opportunities tend to be outside of its countries. Um, I I picked this up because it closely resonated with your concluding thoughts on how the presentation featured mostly white women. So understandably, it's from a Western perspective. Yeah, over to
so
you.
yeah, of course, I'm from a Western country. Uh, I think that this is not really true because we have in Belgium, in Europe, in America, I think that in the whole world, a lot of inequality, uh, gender inequality, uh, racism, and even in our country. I mean, like, even me, I'm facing misogyny a lot of time in my work. We don't really pay attention to what I'm saying. People estimate my work. When I give my prices, they are like, "Oh no," because I'm a woman, and they don't. They are waiting for another price. This is really scary for me sometimes to speak in a room full of men, even if I'm someone loud, a loud woman, or I'm not really scared of a lot of things. But yeah, and how to stop this inequality, this is really really hard to answer, and I think that one of my you have a start from this presentation. I think one of the thing I like, this is representation. This is the same for people of color in the world, like especially in the Western world, to show different people, diversity. Maybe to young girls, don't always show them princess, but also hard worker people, maybe lazy people. Like, try to open up their horizon, and I think that you should start to put more women in the history, like that we have someone to how to say that, to feel it. I don't know how to say it, but like, I need to be able to correspond to them. I don't know how to say in English. um but yeah, I think for me, like my fight, my battle right now is to have more representation of women in computer field right now, and I think that it is a really great way to start with.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Aloha, for that insightful session. It was inspiring to see unheard stories of Maria Mitchell, Ada Lovelace, Grace Hopper, and so many others. I'm sure these are stories from history that we don't hear often. So thanks for bringing that to light. And I'm sure our attendees would have also found it very interesting. Please connect with Laura on LinkedIn and follow her on Twitch. Do follow her
Yeah.
work. Yes, and to conclude, I want to remind all the attendees that all these sessions are recorded and will be available on LambdaTest YouTube channel. So of course, you can go back and listen to them again and share them with your peers. And very shortly, we have our break open, so you could just join in the fluid spaces for conversations and discussions. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much, Loha. I really appreciate this.
Thank you. Thank you again for your time. Thank you so much. See you
Have a
soon.
great day, everyone.
Have a great day.